Hey, welcome to Be That, Create That, the podcast where we teach women in leadership to step confidently into their next level in career and life, using some intentional action steps so that they can be who they admire and create what they desire. I'm Trienne. I'm a leadership performance coach, inspired working with women in areas of all leadership and personal development. A true personal development junkie, because I have seen the shifts that have happened in my life and in the lives of my clients and teams with these types of tools applied. I believe happiness equals progress and fulfillment is then the result. So I know with small intentional actions in leading ourselves every day, we can make the impact we'd like to see in the world around us through leadership and influence. In this podcast, you're going to hear everyday leadership lessons from my clients, my teams, or my own experiences that have improved communication, culture, collaboration, ultimately creating a ripple effect throughout our networks. So let's get started and let's get intentional. Hey guys, Trienne here. Thanks again for getting back to the Be That, Create That social channels. I'm just going to riff on this one for a second. I feel like there's so many times that I have leadership conversations throughout my day. And you know me, I say that we can change perspective in a single conversation. We can make an impact in a single conversation. And there's two sides of leadership here. There's the side where if you know better, you do better and you share better. And then there's the side of the other piece of the conversation that is being a leader that is open to that conversation, being open to learning, being open to another person's opinion, and making an impact in a way that you're showing another person that they can be heard. And how powerful is that? And the fact that we get the opportunity to do that. So one of my little lessons that I picked up was to ask my children, ask my daughter specifically, my oldest daughter, she's 11 at the time of this recording. Hey, what's something that I can do to be a better parent for you? And I have to tell you that a little bit of the ego in me was not comfortable with asking that question at first. And what she said was, sometimes I need you to just listen while I talk. She said, you don't have to fix it for me. You don't have to give me advice. And that's my natural tendency, guys. That's my natural leadership skill, is to say, okay, well, what could we do? And start having a conversation about what could we do, because I find solutions, right? So I took that and kind of held on to it for a while. And so this past week, we were on our way back from softball practice. And I also have to say that some of the times in the car are our greatest conversations. I don't know if it's because of the lack of eye contact, where she feels like she can just lose everything that she wants to talk about, or if it is the movement or it's the time. I'm not sure what it is, but I love it. It is a vibe. I love it so much. So we were just having a conversation last night about, the type of friend that she wants to be, and that she had a friend lately who she felt like was being really critical of her. And she was trying to give herself the chance to really work through that. Almost like the trick I've given you before, where I've said, okay, if you hear somebody say something about you and you stop before you react and you say, the story I'm telling myself is, the truth is, and this is going to be my next action, right? So you know that I've given you that advice before, because for me, it's something that slows me down before I get into reaction mode. And I already know that a hot point for me, or something that can trigger my temper quickly, is if I feel like an injustice if someone is, talking about something about me that they don't understand, or feel this need to defend myself, right? So I have really grown through that. And that is one of the ways that I do that, is I stop and I say, okay, the story I'm telling myself right now is, the truth is, and now this is my next action, and really slowing myself down to respond in a leadership way that I would like to respond, right? So I gave her the opportunity to talk about how she was feeling. And one of the things that we talked about was, when we're in pure leadership mode and understanding that we are the leaders of our lives, we are the leaders of our relationships, we're the leaders of the opportunities that are happening for us and what we do with those. So I said to her, I really need you to understand that sometimes when people see another person as someone who has it all together, someone who just seems like life is going their way, that if they even get a glimpse of something, that person is not perfect. And hello, friends, we know we are not. None of us are perfect in any way. We weren't designed to be that way. We're designed to be as is and give ourselves grace. We don't learn in the perfect. We learn in the messy. We learn in the action. We learn in the struggle and the reaction of the person that we want to be. So I said, sometimes when you can be seen as someone who has it all together and you don't at one point, and for her, it was a simple math problem. I said, it's almost like a aha, like I got you. And I said, this isn't to make you feel bad. However, with some people, it does help them feel better, because for just a glimpse of a second, you weren't perfect. So for just a glimpse of a second, they stop comparing themselves to you. And for just of a glimpse of a second, right? And again, we have to remember that when people get in comparison mode, or this kind of like criticism mode, it isn't about us. This is about them. This is about how they feel about themselves and them working through that. And this is a big, like I said to her, I'm like, I understand this is a really big concept for you to understand. However, if you are a leader and you are always in learning mode, and something comes up that you didn't get completely accurate, that's your opportunity to learn something new. Embrace that. Give yourself the grace to learn something new, because you don't have to have all the answers. In fact, when you do have all the answers, that is when your life stops. That's when you let ego get in the way. And that is when you stop learning mode and creating. And there's not a lot of fun there. There's not a lot of light there. So we kind of joked a little bit, and it was a great conversation to have. But the other piece of this, and I'll get real vulnerable with you guys here for a second. The other piece of this was, she kind of joked about, she's like, you're always, rainbows and la la land. And I laughed for a second, not because of the way that she said it, but because I think that we forget that what we see on the outside is not always what someone may be dealing with on the inside. Yes, I choose happiness. Yes, I choose solutions. Yes, I choose to see the bright side of things. And I said to her, and I think it's important for us to be open with our kids about this and how we regulate our emotions. I said, Tegan, if I did not stop myself and try to flip that switch, flip those limiting beliefs, flip that belief in myself, I said, I would be in the deep, dark, dark woods all the time, in comparison mode, in I'm not good enough, in struggle mode, in what am I going to do? How am I balancing all this? I would be deep and dark. I said, I choose to not live my life that way. Do I allow myself to feel some emotions every once in a while? Yes. Disappointment, sadness, whatever it is. However, I don't allow myself to sit there. I don't sit down in the deep, dark woods and hope someone will come find me. I follow the light and I get myself out. And if that means that I have to create, even if it's false for a second, this feeling of lightness, brightness, and changing around that attitude, then I'm going to do that, because I know that's the healthiest way for me to move forward from the deep, dark woods into the light. Rainbows, cupcakes, glitter, sparkles, whatever it is, however she described me, which was actually pretty hilarious. Whatever it is, I don't even care. The point is that I'm making a choice, and she gets to make a choice too. And the couple lessons here are: open up these conversations with your kids so that you can help them lead themselves through these emotional regulations. Also, showing that you're not perfect and you don't have it together either. And the cool thing is, we get the opportunity to learn all the time. And what a beautiful thing that that can be, and embracing it and being excited about it. And that's leadership, guys. And that's also making an impact, because sometimes we make an impact by showing how we have struggled through something ourselves. It's almost like giving people permission to figure it out on their own as well. So I know that there are a lot of hot buttons in this episode. I told you it was going to be a rant. Consider yourself fair warned. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. If you feel so moved, share this with a couple people. We need more positivity and light and leadership in the world. And sometimes it starts with just a conversation, and it can make an impact. Till next time, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.